Hey, what's up guys? Kane here with XBLA fans, and I am here to give you, not a quick taste, but 5 fantastic titles that were released in March. So we're going to be highlighting some really cool indie games that came out over the month of March. Hopefully you got a chance to check some of these out. We should have quick taste videos for most of these. This video is not meant to really delve deep into any one game, but to just kind of give you a quick overview of all the stuff that you should have checked out from last month. So first up is A Way Out. A Way Out is from Hazlight Studios and EA. The game is fantastic. In fact, I joked with a friend that if we were going to start a cult, it would be just to convince people to play this game. So the cool thing about this game is it plays as a co-op experience, but it plays split screen even when you play online. And what it does is it does some cool things with cinematography. The game starts almost like a prison break, but eventually over time it kind of unfolds into this whole experience that's just something a lot bigger than that. It's from the team that brought you Brothers, which hopefully you remember from the XBLA days, but if not, that is another fantastic title that is worth checking out. This game is just really cool. One of the best features about it is the fact that it has this thing called Friend Pass, which if you buy the game, it allows you to play with any friend who downloads the trial, so only one of you actually has to play, or pay to play, which is fantastic because this is one of those games that you can only play co-op. It makes a lot of sense once you dig into the game, because co-op in this game is more than just a back-of-the-box list feature. It's something that's really special and kind of needed. So A Way Out is out on Xbox One for $29.99. Hopefully you guys check it out. Next up, we have a pretty unique pairing from 10 Tons, and that is Tesla versus Lovecraft. So in this world, for whatever reason, Tesla is saving us from Lovecraft's monsters, and it's a twin-stick shooter. It reminds me a lot of Crimson Land. And honestly, it feels a lot like it could have been Crimson Land 2. In a lot of different ways, this game's just a really fun twin-stick shooter. It's high action-packed, full of just shooting and fun. Like, I mean, there really isn't much else to have to say about that. The levels are pretty short. Each level you go through, you collect different weapons and upgrades and different perks that you can get from upgrading your experience. These do not, continue on forward with you, but there are other different things that you can unlock at a different later time. There's a lot of content in this game. The levels are very, very short, very bite-sized. I would definitely say they're fun, though. And there's some cool stuff where you, drop in with a mech, and you just run around shooting everyone. And eventually, if you find all the parts, again, you can get that mech back. There's special abilities. There's a lot of things that you would expect in a twin-stick shooter. And it's just really well made. And if you're a big fan of twin-stick shooters, this was a pretty good month for us because we also had VALA, and I would definitely recommend checking that one out as well. VALA stands for Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse. So you can guess that one isn't any more serious than this one either. It's a little bit crazy. So one of my favorite parts about doing this video is that there's a lot of different unique genres. So we've already talked about this cool co-op game that kind of traverses through a lot of different genres. Then we had a unique twin-stick shooter. And now we're going to jump into kind of more of a city builder in space. And that's Surviving Mars. And Surviving Mars is brought to you by the same team that did City Skylines. It's $40 on Xbox One. It is Xbox One X enhanced. And it is pretty cool. So there is a lot of different things going on with this game. It is incredibly in-depth. It is really well made. The controls translate actually really well to console, which is always something you want to see. So if you're someone who's always kind of wanted to create your own city, but you're not as interested in the standard city planning and you really want to do it on Mars, if you got a little bit of Elon Musk in you, this is probably the game for you. It's pretty cool. And Zero did a bunch of videos on this one, so I'll make sure to put those into the cards here so you guys can check those out. But he goes way more in depth with this game. I've only had a chance to play it for about an hour, but what I have played was really cool. And I would definitely recommend checking this out if you are into this genre. Next up, we have what was affectionately called Game 4 from the Behemoth. which eventually became known as Pit People. Now, while this game has been in game preview for a while, we finally got the full release this month, and there's a bunch of content that's been added, including a lot of story missions and various other things there. Pit People is kind of awesome in a lot of different ways because, like the Behemoth's other games, they kind of take on a fully new genre and they find a way to put their spin on it. And that's just awesome. And in a world where there's all these different strategy game choices that exist anymore, like Mario and Rabbids made probably one of the best XCOM games ever, it still stands out. Like, there's some special things to this one. And one of the cool things about Pit People, and you'll probably actually notice in the clips I'm using in this video, is if you want to, you can actually automate the entire battle process. So if you're someone who likes to manage things more than actually, individually move units around, you want to kind of speed up the process so you can kind of experience the game in a different way, this game does that. Otherwise, it's a pretty simplistic game to actually control. They've done a really good job of making this genre accessible to people, and it has some cool features. Like, honestly, at times, this game feels a lot like Pokemon mixed with, some kind of tactics game, and that's pretty cool, because you can go around and literally capture different units, and you'll notice just from the selection of units I'm using, there's a pretty big variety, and they all have different, abilities and perks and, pros and cons. Some will take 1 slot, some take 2. There's just a lot of different cool things going on, and there is an absurd amount of content in this game if you enjoy the combat, and it's just fun. And last up, we have QUBE 2, which released for $25 on Xbox One. Now, you wake up in a strange suit, attached gloves. You can manipulate these, different colors that create these kind of cubes and effects, and yeah, it's the follow-up to the first-person puzzle game QUBE. It was a fantastic title, very much in the line of something like Portal, a little bit less on the platforming and, elements, and a little bit more on just kind of the puzzle elements. There's a bunch of different puzzles in this game, a ton of different new mechanics. As you explore the game and solve the different puzzles, the plot kind of unfolds around you. And there's just a lot of cool things to like about this game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit late, and I'm going to blame it on the fact that I was traveling. Last week we were actually up at Microsoft headquarters for Xbox MVP Summit. It was pretty cool. It's always an awesome time, and definitely something I enjoy getting to do every year. But that's why this content's a little bit late, but we'll have these up every single month. Hopefully you guys enjoy them. If you want to be able to know when we post content, make sure you hit that little bell by the subscribe button. And hopefully you guys really enjoy this, and please do share it. It helps us out a ton. I would personally recommend all 5 of these games. I would say that I have played a little bit more of some of them than others, but what I've played of all of them has been pretty fantastic. So thank you guys so much, and later.